Hi there and welcome to East Anglia Daily Times, Ipswich Star, Archers, Ipswich Town live chat. We're going to be hopefully having a look at all things Ipswich Town in the next 10 minutes or so, what's happened in the last week or so. I'm Mike Bacon and I'm joined here by my fellow sports writer Chris Brammer. Well Chris, yeah, the season just finished but there's so much still going on, and first of all let's talk about something that's been mentioned this week. Darryl Murphy. Darryl, I believe, has been released from Newcastle. And we've asked Ipswich fans, would they like to see him return? What do you think?
Yeah, he's not being released, technically still in the contract, but he's been told by Rafa Benitez that he won't be in Newcastle's plans for the Premier League, along with defender Grant Hanley. I think a lot of people expected that. I think it was a bit of a surprise move when he actually went there in the first place. Newcastle paid around $3 million for him. Not really had much of a look in at Newcastle, although when he has played, he's chipped in with some vital goals. But I think moving forward, I don't think he was ever going to be in their plans long term in terms of the Premier League. So yeah, I mean, as a result of that, then speculation starts, doesn't it? And we launched a poll on our website about whether or not Town fans would like to see Murphy come back. 68%.
You'd like to see him come back?
I personally, I would. I think he's an extremely good striker. 68% said no.
You see, I think that cost Ipswich Town big time last year. I know they got good money for him and all the rest of it, but they lost a lot. I think in the change room. I think they lost a lot on the pitch. Murphy's had his ups and downs at Ipswich, but he was so good that year. He got 27 goals, wasn't he? I mean, he made the season, didn't he?
Well, he was never going to replicate the 27 goals, I don't think. But he was the focal point, wasn't he? He was the bloke that they looked to. The way Ipswich played, they'd play the ball up to him and the ball would stick 9 times out of 10, and players around him would feed off that, whereas you've not really got that presence now up front.
So what do you say the fans' views were?
68% said no. I think they think that ship sailed, really. He's been at Ipswich pretty much all the time since about 2010, I think, on loan and then permanent. And all of a sudden you're looking now, would in a normal world, would Mick McCarthy be looking at spending a couple of million on a 34-year-old striker? Because
probably not. And the wages he was on at Newcastle.
The wages, all of a sudden, he was obviously on increased wages at Newcastle. All of a sudden now, Newcastle are going to want to, I would have thought, recoup some of that money back. And Ipswich, I wouldn't have thought, one, would pay that kind of money, and two, certainly not pay that kind of money for a 34-year-old striker. So I can't see that one happening, unless maybe a loan deal was available, but I don't think we'll see Darryl Murphy back at Ipswich next season.
Tom Adeyemi.
Tom
Adeyemi's been mentioned. Cardiff City player.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, you always can get players mentioned all the time. This time of year, it's that time of the season, isn't it? Just after the season's finished, people want to get a bit of business done sort of quite early on. But he's been linked with Ipswich Town. What's the latest?
It's an interesting one because he obviously started his career at Norwich City as well, which adds a little bit of spice to it. Box-to-box midfielder, performed well in a dismal Rotherham team, it has to be said, last season. I think he scored 7 league goals in 28 games, so he knows where the back of the net is. Ipswich are crying out for a midfielder that can score goals and add a bit of presence and a bit of energy, really, to that engine room. By all accounts, he's not wanted at Cardiff City, and there could be the scenario come the start of the season that Town could be lining up with Adeyemi and another Cardiff man, Emir Hughes, in the centre of midfield.
Yeah, Hughes did well, didn't he? I mean, he did do well at Ipswich last year. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans would like to see him back. I mean, I would. I thought he did well.
Yeah, he's another one that doesn't seem to be in favour at Cardiff, and if they could get both of them, that would be a real statement of intent. Hughes is a good ball player, as we saw last season, creates things and makes things tick, whereas Adeyemi, like we said, he's box to box. He can defend, but he also gets forward, and he scored the winner against Ipswich for Rotherham in April. By all accounts, from what we've heard coming from our sources in South Yorkshire, Ipswich are the early favourites to bring him in, but Norwich as well have been linked. Would Norwich see it as a step back for them, or would they want to go back in for a player that they released and hopefully for them will come back better for them? So I mean, I think he'd be on a free transfer as well from Cardiff, so it'd represent a good bit of business for somebody, I think.
Now, come on, the weekend, in the East Anglian Daily Times, actually this weekend, we've done quite a big fan survey, haven't we, of their thoughts on the season. And the names Andre Dozzell and Teddy Bishop come up quite a lot in fans' thoughts. I mean, I rate both on, particularly Dozzell. I think he's an excellent player. I think last season I saw him come on a bit of a cameo role for half an hour in a match. I can't remember who it was against, but he was absolutely excellent. He's just such a class player. It's going to be a big season for him coming up because he didn't quite break through last year, really, did he? But fans would really perhaps like to see Dozzell and Bishop. Yeah,
well, he's playing in the Toulon tournament this summer for England. I think it's the best players from the 18s, 19s and 20s that are going to be representing the country in Toulon. I think they play Cuba in one of the 3 group games.
Cuba?
First ever game against Cuba. But yeah, they'll be looking for Dozzell to do well there. And yeah, interestingly, we did a poll of the players left at Ipswich Town now. Who would the fans, if the season was to start tomorrow, who would they like to see in their starting 11 come August? And interestingly, the midfield 4 was Grant Ward, Teddy Bishop, Andre Dozzell and Danny Rowe. Straight away.
Danny Rowe.
That smacks to me a very lightweight
midfield.
Lots of flair, lots of
skill. Lots of good ball players there.
But I think what that does say to you is, and Town fans aren't silly, it says more about the players that they've got at their disposal, Ipswich, and the fact that Ipswich do need to bring in players in that area in the summer. The fact that they've gone for those 4, the popular players. I think any Ipswich Town fan would say to you that they probably wouldn't want to see that midfield start the season simply because it lacks experience at this level and it's lightweight at this level, and you need to have a couple of players in there that are big, strong, physical. I'd
like to see Dozzell just given a run.
But it would be nice
I'd like to see him given 12, 15 games on the trot, and I know it's not as easy as that, but I think that's probably what fans would like to see as well. And hopefully, perhaps Mick might be able to do that at the start of the season, sort of from the, as the season wore on, just gone, it became harder and harder.
Yeah, I can understand why he didn't get games.
Yeah, it became tougher and tougher. You really want to get off to a good start and give a good run, and we'll see where that develops.
Because other teams have proved as well in this division that you can field youngsters successfully. Look at Fulham with Sessegnon at Fulham. I think he was only 16, 17. I mean, we don't know whether or not who's going to end up being the better player out of those 2, whether either of them will actually make it. But Fulham have done it this season, and there's a few more teams. I know Leeds have always blooded a lot of youngsters, and they've not always had successful seasons, but they have persisted with them. So yeah, it would be nice, especially for the fans, to see a homegrown boy like Dozzell.
Well, I think also the way I see it with Dozzell is England keep calling on him, don't they? I mean, he has been continuously picked by England, 17s, 50, I don't know what age group he started at, but I mean, he's been in England regular, his age groups. I mean, that is quite something. There's coaches there watching him who don't see him on a daily basis, but see him when they see him and think this boy can play. And I think what we've seen, he signed a new contract, hasn't he? Extension to his contract as well.
2020. I don't think his ability's ever been in doubt. I think it's, and I spoke to his dad about it the other week, it's the muck and nettles side, the dirty side of the game that he needs to add, the tackling, the tracking back, the running with his marker and things like that. And they're all the things that he'll learn from Mick McCarthy, I would imagine, or Terry Connor. The actual natural ability of his game is there already, and it's just a case of just polishing that and improving, and that'll come with time and experience.
A couple of pre-season friendlies been announced recently. Chris, what can you tell us a bit more about them?
Nothing really to get excited about at the moment, is it? I mean, you've got the annual game of Colchester now. They've played that every year since 2011. It's a good one for fans. It's just down the A12, 20 minutes. It's an ideal midweek game for fans. Also got Charlton away in a friendly, and also they're playing at Peterborough in a friendly. But interestingly with that one, it's going to be 2 games of 60 minutes, I believe, so 30 minutes each way. So I'd imagine you'd see two totally different teams playing those games, and it's a chance for Mick McCarthy to field a couple of teams, look at his tactics and maybe try a few things.
Are they going to Ireland?
They're going to Ireland as well. They're going to be staying at Carlton House again, and they're going to be playing Drogheda, I think that's how you pronounce it, in a friendly.
How do you spell it?
It's Drogheda, Drogheda United, in a friendly this summer. They usually end up with finish with a home friendly, don't they? I know last season's was a little bit, it sort of went under the radar. They played a Belgian second division team and lost the game actually, and I think kind of the rot setting from there. Really, they showed a lack of instinct up front. They didn't create many chances, and I think that kind of set the tone for what followed. Albeit at the start of the season, winning 4-2 against Barnsley and Grant Ward getting the hat trick. So I think they'd like to see. I think fans would like to see a high-profile opponent for a fixture. But
be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, be nice.
It's whether or not they can make it happen between now and the end of the season. Obviously, you've got the concert there in between as well. So it's the logistics.
Did you go to the concert?
I'm not, I'm afraid. No, I am going to see Celine Dion with my wife though, at the end of June.
Nice. Yeah, very good.
So maybe I shouldn't have said that on Facebook Live, but there you go.
Right, before we go, I hope obviously people are going off to their summer holidays and stuff now, so just a little bit of a promotion here of the latest Kings of Anglia. Edition 3 will be coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so look out for that. Take it on your summer holidays, good bit of reading in there.
Yeah, nice interview with Coochie.
Yeah, I was going to say, including a nice interview with Shefky Coochie. Who remembers Shefky? I remember Shefky diving around on the football fields at Portland Road, other places, how he used to land on his chest, bang, with a full
swan dive.
Swan dive, fantastic. So Kings of Anglia Edition 3 is out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Lots of stuff on that, as I said, including this big Shefky and Tommy Smith, who's is the lead interview. So take that with you on your summer holidays. You can read it on the beach, and hopefully we'll be back again next week.
Cheers.